Mike Tyson is one of the most interesting people to ever walk this planet. It's your boy Dame. Subscribe to Dame's World. As we know, Mike Tyson fights Roy Jones tomorrow by the time this video drops. And most people think Mike Tyson is just a fighter. Think again. He has a podcast called Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson that shows the many layers of Mike. I'm talking historian of great leaders, boxers. I'm talking shaman, spirituality, tapped in, ego death. I'm talking philosopher with the weed. Mike Tyson is an interesting dude. And this episode in Dame's World is just to show y'all the layers and the depths of Mike Tyson's brain. I think he has a magnificent brain, a brain of the conflict when it comes to ego and soul. And this video encapsulates perfectly what Mike been on lately. Interview with Tony Gonzalez. Let's peep.
You so into that? Like, what about that spoke to you?
It spoke to me because I had no perspective on myself. Mm-hmm. So I meant nothing to me. So I looked for something to become something. Does that make sense?
Seeking validation, looking for something to become something because he doesn't see himself as worth much. Already preaching.
You're a seeker.
Yeah.
That's what it is right there.
Yeah.
That's what I think that is.
Yeah.
It's that seeker. It's that curiosity.
Yeah.
You got to be curious if you ever want to be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody we talk about, if you're going to be great at something, you better be curious.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty profound.
Greatness is the willingness to die. Mm-hmm. That's greatness.
Both good points. Questioning yourself leads to greatness by Tony Gonzalez. Good point. The willingness to die by Tyson. Good point. No wrong answers. Try to look at information and what you can gain from these answers. There's no wrong answers. Both decent, good answers. Something we both can learn from. Questioning and the willingness to die. Where does that lead you? Greatness oftentimes.
Like you see these guys, forget about suicide guys. Forget about the guy. Just people that are decent people just decide to kill themselves. What makes a person does that? And they do it young age, 15, 16. And it's just, how do you say it? It's 15, 20 years old. You experience enough life to realize, hey, I don't want to be here no more. It's something about yourself that you hate so bad. Yeah. Any kind of killing is a form of self-hate. If I'm killing somebody, it's just everything I say about it. If I call him a dirty motherfucker, that's because I'm a dirty motherfucker.
Mind you, this is coming from Mike Tyson, the quote-unquote biggest, baddest man on the planet, willing to show you, deconstruct his own ego. If Mike Tyson can down his ego, anybody out there can down their ego for the sake of the better, the collective. That ego is a bitch, man.
If he's a bitch-ass nigga, it's because I'm a bitch-ass nigga. We reflect of one another. That's why people are inspired by it. That's how come we get inspired. Because we're a reflection of one another.
Yes.
And they allow us to know what we can be. Even though we're in bad situations, this is what we can be. My whole life is about rob. Listen, I come from that world of rob. My mother's a slut woman, my father's a pimp, and this is my world. Can you imagine? Look at me, I'm a fucking savage. I see my mother sleep with men, fuck me, and it's just who I am. Sex and me, that's probably why I got in trouble with sex, because sex and me is like, whoa, it's like breathing.
That's why I love Mike too, the transparency, the truth, wearing his life and his career on his sleeve without shame or embarrassment. That's one of the first signs of deconstructing the ego. People don't have shame or embarrassment for the things that they did, because it doesn't essentially represent who they are in their entirety. Mike Tyson is many things. He's not just a boxer like y'all finna see tomorrow.
And I know it should be like that, but it's just like breathing, like perversity and sex and that stuff, and me in a room and a bunch of women like snacks, and that's unnatural to me, because that's who my mother and father is. Yeah. Even to this day, right now, I have to check myself. Always check myself.
Yeah.
My wife is my consciousness. Why is my masculinity in a woman? Because my mother fucked me up. That's why my masculinity is in a woman. Why am I so overbearing to my wife? My wife must say, this nigga is overbearing. As long as you love me, but the nigga is too much. I know she must think that, because I'm afraid of losing her. And I think to myself, when I'm so aggressive and I'm loving her, I give her so much love that's chasing her away. But why can't I control it? Why can't I just stop and be a Mac and with all the other people? Why can't I do that with her the way I do with everyone else, the other women? Like, they're nothing. Because my masculinity is in her. Because my mother fucked me up in some kind of way. Seeing her fuck men and seeing men fuck her and how she responds to all that stuff. And I want to make people respond the way my mother responds when I'm fucking. I'm making love, or whatever we call it. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for those sounds that my mother made her to sing. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
His past and his history still catches up with him today. He's pretty much breaking down how the things he been through and experiences he been through shapes the actions that he do today, and acknowledging his mother and her past. Some deep shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like, how do you...
Type of shit niggas be scared to talk about.
How do you unsee something? Can you?
No, you can't. Yeah. No, brother.
You can't?
Listen. I'm in love with those. I'm in love with that picture. The people fucking my mother. I'm in love with that picture, that ecstasy, that passion. I'm in love with that. I keep rolling those pictures in my head. I'm in love with the picture. I'm addicted to that.
Yeah. Different. And how do you... Well, at least for me, like I said, like going through hard times. And how do you change the story? How do you say, okay, I'm gonna change the story. Can't change what happened, but I'm gonna change the narrative on how it spoke to me, and I'm gonna make it speak to me this way now. Instead of that negative way, I'm gonna make it be a positive way and be a light going forward.
And when you do that, then no, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds good, but then and then we're dealing with what you're dealing with now. You don't want these people to know that I do this. Like me, I have no secrets of anything. Everybody, I'm so transparent. That's why I've lost so much. So this is my only freedom, being able to be on this mic. And I don't like this because this makes people think that I'm somebody special. I don't want nobody to think I'm somebody because I don't have a good opinion of myself. But for my ego, this is great. My ego is something I'm trying to get away from. But when I get away from that ego, when I distinguish myself, I'm such a coward. I need it back. I hate myself. When my ego goes away, I'm a bitch. I'm like, I don't know what I am. Everything I'm afraid of, I don't know. Come back.
That's a lot of us too when we leave our ego state. When we tap into that intrinsic state of being that can identify the ego, we really then be like, okay, I'm not the ego, so what am I? And it becomes a terrifying place to try to find and seek self, or to even tell yourself you don't know who you are. When you distinguish yourself from that ego state, those labels of being the baddest boxer, being that nigga, being the most violent, aggressive, when you deconstruct that and realize most of that shit is your environment and you ain't none of that, it could be a scary place to ask yourself, who are you? Mike Tyson is referencing that, running back to his ego. We all do it. Life is about balance.
I don't know. How do you get rid of that guy?
You talk about him.
Yeah. We need him. He's here for a reason. Yeah. Why is he here? And we keep getting away. No, my ego tells me
you
sometimes.
Acknowledge it.
It tells me sometimes. Listen, I tell you, you gonna do this shit? Look, this is where I got you. I got you here with Rob. I got you here with Tyson fucking Ranch. I got this. This is what I got for you, Mike. But listen, only thing I want you to do to pay me back, all right? I just need you to I need you to fuck her, and then we're even. That's what my ego tells me. I need you to fuck her. You fuck her, and then we're even, Mike.
The ego leading to bad choices, or choices that don't protect his investment of his life right now, his consciousness, having sex, doing drugs, getting into that lifestyle, what the ego tells them is benefit for. That current state change, that type of shit. The ego often plays the deceptionist and the devil in your own life.
But I don't want to fuck nobody but my wife.
Yeah.
But that's somebody who say, I gave you all this. Just do me a favor, Mike. Fuck her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
You deserve this. I'll make 100,000. I need a Beamer. The ego creating this illusion, this distortion of life. You feel me? I'm this. I'm a man. I gotta do this as a man. The ego. Do you really want to do this as self? We often feed into the ego. Blindly.
The ego, man.
Huh?
Fuck the ego.
Hey, listen, that's what everyone says. You're saying that, but it has you, it has all of us.
Oh, I know.
We can't live without it.
Well, it comes, and it's going to come. I was listening to something last night on, I think it was on Alan Watts. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Alan Watts is beautiful.
Yeah, and he was talking about a Buddhist story or whatever, and a great Buddhist was saying that there is no such thing as permanence. That you will not be a permanently blissful or happy.
Yeah.
Just like you won't be permanently sad or ego-driven. That it's going to come, but it's about letting it come, and don't run from it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it. Take it.
Yeah.
And then,
He talking. Life is about flux, about change. You'll never stay the same. Nothing is permanent. You gotta adjust with the wave. Sometimes you might have bad ideas, bad thoughts in your wave, in your matrix. You gotta adjust and shape to that. You're not those thoughts. You'll get to a better place of thinking at some point. But at that time, you gotta adjust. You gotta embrace and you gotta accept who you are in that moment. But you're never gonna be stuck in one moment. We identify Mike Tyson with that violent motherfucker, but if y'all watch Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, y'all gonna get a shaman vibe. A shaman vibe, an energetic, loving, teddy bear type nigga. Funny motherfucker, that motherfucker wear gang of hats.
go to the other side of that, because that's where the life is.
This is gonna be, why do we listen to these people? The fuck are these people? They don't even look like us. Why do we listen to them? It's from another fucking way of living.
I say resonance. When I listen to authors or writers or somebody doing their craft, it resonates to me almost to where it's almost a reflection of who I am, the energy. I read Immanuel Kant and I feel like I'm writing that motherfucking shit. It resonates so much. So a lot of the times I think we listen to people because of resonance, but also probably because we want to appeal to a higher authority. So partially ego, partially soul.
Life tracer. You know, he don't look like us, think like us, or nothing like us. Why do we listen to them? Why?
Maybe because I'm thinking that it's an energy that you can feel wherever you're at that point. If you're ready for that, it'll hit you. Just like if you see a pimp on the corner and that speaks to you and you say to yourself, I want to be like that. That's where you're at.
It's a reflection of you. That's where you're at that moment to where it resonates. You might watch a movie that resonates at 7, then you 17 and it don't resonate. That's not where you at no more.
At that time, energetically. Or when you see a pimp on the corner and you say, I'm not there. I'm somewhere else. I'm not saying it's better or it's worse, but I'm at a different energy, vibration, and frequency. Your frequency is your currency. That's where you're at. I don't know.
From the world, I think we don't like what we're doing. That's why we listen to people. You know?
I agree with both. Again, the energy is Tony Gonzalez. If I'm not mistaken, these NFL niggas got helmets. I think that's Tony Gonzalez, I'm pretty sure. But the energy, we reflect somebody, but a lot of the times, again, we don't like who we are, so we seek authorities to try to, how to be successful, books and shit, you know what I'm saying, to try to be better. We don't like who we are. So I agree with him, but his is a form of the ego state again. You got the soul's take and the ego state.
Because that's, we in some way, we take what they say and we want the world to believe that we said it. You know, that's the perspective of ourselves. That's the, what I say we do, what's that word I used again?
Self-reflection or...
no, fuck it up. Examining yourself,
Inventory.
When you do your inventory, you can't lie. That's why when I do my inventory, I can't lie to myself. You know, and I just say, fuck. You know.
Inventory, self-reflection, meditation, introspective.
Yeah.
These are the things that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
It's good that you're asking these, because most people are too afraid to ask questions about themselves.
Well, here's the thing, though, Mike, about the ego. And Alan Watts talks about this. is that the ego is an illusion that you've created. There's no spot in your brain
Exactly.
that generates this shit. The ego is this fucking this
So why do we
creation
create them? Why do
to
we create
protect yourself,
Yes.
to keep yourself safe.
Our ego is for a survival tactic. At the end of the day, your ego discerns reality too. So it's for the sake of survival at the end of the day. But then the ego creates figments, illusionary things that may not even entail survival, or just images that tell you who you are, when a lot of it is just your perception relatively. You can't tangibly tell yourself who you are energetically. You're beyond that.
Yes.
To aspire because you can't imagine that you can be the person that everyone loves and holds up in all of your successes.
You know, my ego tells me. My ego knows that I'm a great follower of Alexander the Great. My ego said, fuck that nigga. What it took him 20 years to do, you do in one fight. What it took him 20 years to do for people to know who he is, I do it.
The ego being boastful, bragging, it's all symbolic. Actions are symbolic of either the ego or the consciousness, the energy. The energy don't need to boast. The energy is connected to life and not material things. The ego is connected to that realm of boastful language, trying to pump yourself up, looking over masculine in front of the homies and shit. It's a clear dichotomy in our own existence, the ego and the soul. I think we all possess both, but some of us is tapped into either or. Some of us is tapped into solely just the ego. Some of us is spiritual in the motherfucker on a mountaintop, only riding energy.
One night. But still, I don't want to look at myself as something great. Something has to be great in order for me to. I can't look at me as just me. It's just my low self-esteem. Maybe it's something I have to want to follow. Something is bigger than me. Something has to be bigger than me.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's it. You know, this is just Dame referencing a Mike Tyson hot boxing. I feel like his consciousness is something that should be spread across the universe, coming from where he came from, being in the environment in which he came from. This dude is tapped in consciously. And I also feel with this fight coming up tomorrow that it can prompt back that ego state in which Tyson was in which he always professes that he don't like. And I don't know, it could be a system behind this trying to pump that type of Mike Tyson back out, seeing him at this peaceful state. I don't know, man. The devil plays in a lot of mysterious ways. But it's all love. It's your boy Dame. Most of us, all of us, gonna be watching the fight. Enjoy the fight. Everybody be safe. Hope nobody get too hurt in this motherfucker. And I hope Tyson returns back to this form of being a shaman healer type nigga in the form of a comedian. It's your boy Dame.